Round 2 for NRL Supercoach is done and dusted, and an 18,000 rank improvement. And to say I'm disappointed with that is an understatement. It was moving week for me. I set myself up, I thought, pretty well with a couple of Titans. Tino came out and did really well also. Brimson, but a few guys just didn't perform, unfortunately. And a couple of the guns that I have started with haven't kicked it off so well. 24,000 overall rank to begin. And I did sell Metcalf as well. So that was just absolutely magic to have that happen. And him scored like 117, I think he went up to in the end, which was pretty gross there, that's for sure. And yeah, what we're looking at is me getting ahead of the game. That was the play. And going to Marley fairly early here and banking some cash, which is going to be really helpful for this week coming, for sure. But there's definitely some worries about how things are going to end up with the side going forward, which trades we're going to have to make, because there's a few injuries and the like going around for my own team. I had Matt Burton personally, which wasn't ideal, and I'm ranked 66 out of 102 so far in the Podcasters League, and congratulations to Luke up top, 1,533. So let's just go through my score here on the side, and we do see Rob Toya in there. Mamazelis I was really happy with. I played Shibasaki, but the big disappointing one for me has been Jermaine Hopgood. I moved on from Watson to Hopgood, spent that extra bit of cash to get him, and then Watson, obviously comes out with a double and a ton on the weekend, and Hopgood goes 43 following a mid-50 score in round 1. So plenty to think about with Hopgood, and if I am going to move him on, just with the chances of him getting attacking stats in this side right now, it does feel fairly low, unfortunately. So he's going to be a contentious one for myself. Tino, I'm so glad I started with him. That was an awesome score. Great to see him run straight into round 2 for these guys, their first game with a full head of steam. Burton was doing really well in that first half, obviously only 27 minutes, and the injury to get 47 in that time, I was very happy. I was hoping he was on target for a ton, and yeah, it wasn't to be. So an injury for him in 47. Brimson only 40 as well. So coming into that final 2 games on Sunday, I was just over 900, in a really happy spot with a lot of guns to go. With Hopgood, Burton, Brimson, Preston, Tino. Really happy with that. And after the start that I had Ponga, Lucas, and Greg Marzu in that first game, I was super excited with Ponga as vice as well. So thankfully, I had a few things go right like that. Pete Mamazelis was really good for me. Horsburgh, May, these types of guys were great, but that's, everyone has those guys. Garrick was a bit low at 54 and Turbo as well with 59. And then you had a Cleary with the 80. Was solid, very similar to that of Hines, so that was fine. Preston got the try, but still only 66. Similar to Nickera, actually. And then guys that didn't play, Sam Smith, but I played Pete, so I was happy with that. Tamale, I brought him in, but didn't play him in the end. I took him out when I was going to loop Ponga. So, yeah, it would have been nice to pick like a Shibasaki or one of those guys. Hubner 52, but now he's out. I didn't play White for 56. So there's a couple of good scores in there. Duffy and Purdue hasn't worked out so far. And Alex Seyfarth with 49. And then my Mr. Simpkins came in as captain. And Alex Seyfarth as 49, all on my emergencies as well. So overall, it was okay. A few guys a few points we left down the table. There was a couple of other teams out there that had the likes of Watson and these types of players there with Metcalf's 117 that all really helped out. And picked up some good scores for a couple of these guys. Payne Haas, Tom Starling, Tuipulotu. This is what Luke had last week. So ended up with a really cracking squad to kick things off. Look at all that. His lowest player that was unique was 60 to me. And I've got a bunch of 40s and the like in there. So not ideal there, but big congrats to him. We've got Chris, Maxi, Matthew, Daniel, Ross. Scoops in there at number 7. So well done to him. Joel, Jonathan, and Jack on the top 10 for the Podmasters there. There's going to be plenty to talk about, which will I'll quickly show you my squad in a second, but wanted to shout out the private group guys as well, with Jaden absolutely crushing actually in fantasy and Supercoach. He's leading our private group for both, which is crazy. So congrats to him. and Tyson, both in ahead of Scoop. I think Tyson's in at just outside the top 1,000 and Jaden's snuck in there about 800 or something like that. So congrats to those guys, Lockie, Simon, Jared in that top 5 with Tom, Guy, Matt, Martin and Heath in that top 10. So well done to you guys, all basically going 1,400 plus, and Jared with the cracking start last week keeps his spot right up in the good zone. So that's those couple of things, a couple of head-to-heads. I won a couple of them, lost a couple as well. And shout out to Maxi, come up with the 14-21 to beat me there. And then my proper head-to-head one here, unfortunately lost by 21 points. So that was rough. But yeah, they're the actual results. And let's go to my team now and make some calls. So guys that we might want to look to sell. Nafahu White, probably a later problem. Given he's 367k averaging 50, he'll make some money next week, so we'll leave him. Hopgood is definitely on my list of worries, and with an average of 50 to kick things off, he will lose cash this week, and I can't see the improvements coming. So with someone like Hopgood, he could easily turn to Payne Haas. Oh, that's sad. I picked Hopgood over Haas, 12k cheaper. 12k cheaper. Could just put Horsburgh down. Oh, that was smart, Jamie. That was really smart, but yeah. Eels weren't meant to be this bad, were they? Without Moses, they could be really bad. And it looks like Moses is going to be out for another couple of months too. So Hopgood could easily go out. Horsburgh can come down to second row. And Payne Hassell's likely to come in if I go down that route. Preston, I think we hold at this point. He hasn't had a great start, but he won't lose too much cash. He's got that 66 now in the rolling average. 50 will drop out pretty quick. And the Dogs looking pretty good. And they might be a little bit more right-hand centric with Burton going down. Seyfarth is another guy that we can look at as a potential sell, averaging 42.5, 49 last week. Is the attack going to come for him? Maybe not, but they do have a couple of nice matchups coming up. Can he average 50 odd over the next bunch? Yes. Is he a priority sell? No, but he's an option for sure. We do have a bunch of guys like Starling in the hooking slot. We have Haas up top in front row. You have Couchman eventually, but not this week coming, the following week. So we can wait on that one. Maybe Couchman's an easy one from Seyfarth to him the following week or something like that. And White can stick around and get sort of okay minutes and plod in the 40s for a bit, make a bit of cash, get in the 400s, and we can move him on from there. Tino's great. Cleary's fine. Duffy is an interesting one. If I wanted to get Starling at that mid-300s price, I would have to go Duffy out. Sanders Smith comes in and then go to Starling. The other question is Jamie Humphries as a potential option as well. He would have to come in for the Duff man as well. Burton, we'll have to sell him at some stage, whether it's this week or next week, and get another good young fella in our side. Or old fella, Mr. Munster. He could be in some people's thoughts. Chanel Harris-Tavita is another one that's actually had a pretty good start and is fairly cheap. Could be a cash grab. So he's someone in that 5'8 slot I can have a look at. Obviously, he could go back to Metcalf, but yeah, could. Or just hold him last week. That would have been cool as well. Tough week for my sides. Fantasy and Supercoach. I traded Metcalf out in both and went all in on that, and it backfired dramatically. Centre wings. It wasn't as good as last week. Garrick with a 54, but he'll be fine. The Manly boys were terrible. Obviously Turbo as well, 59. Shibasaki, I played for 34. I think he'll have a nicer time of it this week. The Broncos do have a nice stretch of games, so I'm excited to see how that pans out. They've got the Cowboys this week, and that'll be fun for Shiba, so I'll definitely play him. I think Rob Toya will be playing next week. Tamale we might play as well. So I think centre wing, we're pretty set. Jackson Purdue, the one that could definitely move out of the side, but at 257, the guy you could go to, I think, is Jesse Arthurs at that 360k mark. So he's someone to think about for sure. Whether we go for him this week or not, we'll decide. Munster is the interesting one. Like, do you pick him this week against Panthers? Do you wait one more and maybe I can go Burton to Munster next week? It's definitely a thought. Haven't decided yet on that one, but we'll work that one out. And yeah, it's probably the only big target in centre wing. No one else is kind of crushing it other than, Marzu and Lucas that I have already anyway. So Purdue could be the one to leave the side with a really tough set of matchups for a while now for sure. Ponga, Yongi, that 25, that really hurts. Puts him down to 47 now, and we can't really see it improving too much for Para, although they're at home next week against a team without Burton and Kickow. So they should still be decent, but they don't have that same punch that they once did, or they did before the start of this game last night. So hopefully Yongi can do well, and we'll probably still look to play him this week. We'll probably go pretty high. If we do go Purdue to Arthurs, we might go pretty heavy centre wing and play all of them, to be fair, which can be fun. Could definitely backfire a little bit, but I think is more than likely going to be fun. Turbo, we hope that he plays. If he plays this week, should be fun. They have still a fairly tough matchup in there very tough matchup against Canberra, but is at home. And we know that's usually good for him. So hopefully it was just hamstring tightness. It sounds like he is on track to play. I think with someone like Turbo, you'd have to get through everything perfectly for him to play. If he's not playing, then there's some worries. Do you want to jump on Walsh this week? Yes, against a nice matchup, but coming off a 19, he's not going to make too much cash. Maybe the following week he's a better buy, or you just go for it now and bank on him bouncing back and doing really well. In terms of other fullbacks, you could go, obviously flex as well. I don't have to trade back for another fullback, but with Yongi not going tremendously well, then I still think it's probably worth having two if Yongi doesn't continue on for us. But I think that's my side for now. The Turbo one's going to be the interesting one, if he plays or not. The good thing is it's Sunday next week that they play the final game of the round. That gives him plenty of time to get things right. Given they played on Friday, he's got 9 days to sort it out. And hopefully he's okay and he can get in and return a better game than what he provided in game 2. And they obviously lost as well. So that's something to note. Bunch of options in my team. It looks like there's, Turbo's the one to worry about. We've got Purdue, Burton, Duffy is 4. Hopgood 5 I'm worried about. And that's it. So 5 potential guys that could move on, and we have 3 trades to use if we get a boost going. So that's where I'm at. Thankfully, I did leave the 213 in the bank, so I think I can push for a couple of these different trades and make some things work for sure. We'll see how it all plays out. Let me know your thoughts, guys, around my side or what score you got and what potentially you might be looking at. Let me know in the comments, guys. Thanks so much for being here for my Supercoach videos on a weekly basis. It's continuing to grow a little bit, which is fun, and hopefully we can have a good year and show people that we know what we're talking about. Thanks, guys. See you later.